Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes trading cryptocurrency can be very difficult. Sometimes it can feel like the easiest thing in the world when you hit a big win, when you invest in the right coin, when you make the right trade, when you catch the right support level. But regardless, either way, it is exciting, and we like to share in our ups and our downs, our highs and our lows. And there have been many, many lows throughout the 2022 bear market, and there have been many highs come the 2023 bull market that we've experienced so far. So let's break it all down with another great episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today is May 23rd, 2023. Value Year of our Lord. I believe I said 2022 yesterday, but it is definitely 2023, and we are in the midst of the 2023 quasi-run, and we are anticipating a slight pull down before, and some people are calling for the 2024 bull run. Some people are calling for the 2025 bull run. But regardless, after the crypto winter that we experienced and the knowledge that we're likely to go through a little what do they call that? Indian summer? Is that the right word? Where it gets cold in, maybe Indian summer is when it gets warm in the winter. What's the opposite of that? When it gets cold in the summer, right? Like a cold snap. Knowing that we might be experiencing a short-term cold snap coming soon, as we've gone over many, many times. Bitcoin has a very repeatable pattern in its 4-year halving cycle, where we will go down and, whether to the upside or to the downside. But when price is preparing for another run, another kind of parabolic run that we've seen previously multiple times, what happens is we will reach a bottom. There will be a capitulation event, a catalyst. In this case, it was the FTX collapse that brought price down to our current low of 15,000 approximately. And we've now rallied off that quite powerfully, doing a 2x on Bitcoin's price up to 30,000. We've now dropped back down to about 27,000, rallying off that 26,000 support so far, as we kind of anticipated and talked about over the last few days and even last week. Okay. So, the moment I went live, crypto pumped. You guys know what it is. Just subscribe to the channel so you guys know. Obviously, before we begin all of the things, if you enjoy the content, make sure to smash the like button like it owes you money, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Resources and links to everything you could possibly need down in the description below. I highly recommend our free guide if you find value in that. Our intro to developing your own strategy is $7. And if you find value in that, consider joining the private group where I post all my portfolio updates. You get access to all of our indicators, automated strategies, etc., all of the things, masterminds. Okay, moving on. All right, so let me tell you guys what I've been doing today. So obviously Pulse Chain is heavy on my mind. And we've actually got the Pulse Chain charts taken over for Bookmap in the bottom right hand corner of kind of the heads up display, which I always point in the wrong direction. It's this way. There. Over there. We've got Crypto Bubbles, aggregated trade, my current open day trades in that little sliver there, second from the right, and then the actual price of PulseX. Now, I posted this update to all the members in the premium trading group this morning, but Pulse Chain is, of course, heavy on my mind. So I want to talk about that. So just recapping for everybody who's following me here, last year, thanks to the members of our community, prior to that, I did not invest in Hex. I have had absolutely zero interaction with Hex. I've never had any Hex. I've never done any Hex. I've never even traded Hex. But, and for all the reasons, right? I consider myself an intelligent investor. I saw Richard Hart come through. I wasn't really sold. I thought this, that. But then Hex performed absolutely amazingly. And I started to just kind of dip my toe into the community a little bit more. And it's very much like the XRP community, in my opinion, who I've kind of gone back and forth on with, like, early in my career, back in 2016, back in 2017. I didn't want anything to do with XRP, blah, 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 this and that and the third. And obviously I'm still a fundamental Bitcoin person. My goal not only is to achieve personal wealth through trading, but it's also altruistically, hopefully, to make an impact and make the world a better place. And I think a more sound money will do that. So philosophically, I'm very much in the realm of, Peter Schiff, but Peter Schiff is anti-Bitcoin, more gold. But fundamentally, we come from the same kind of philosophical viewpoint. And then Obviously, Michael Saylor has said some incredible things. Balaji Srinivasan has said some amazing things. So those are all kind of the thought leaders that I gravitate towards as far as understanding that Bitcoin is sound money and is the answer for a better future. So I digress. I don't want to get into that too much, but I don't know, maybe in an effort not to alienate the viewers, I've developed a slightly more positive approach to the other communities out there, right? Because again, we're all in this together, and infighting is not going to make the world a better place, right? We can argue about decentralization, but at the end of the day, we're all here to make money and hopefully make the world a better place. And I think that we can achieve all that by not infighting and kind of hating amongst each other. If you like this coin and I like this coin and you like this thing and blah, blah, it doesn't matter, right? We can all come together and fight against the real enemy here, okay? Fight against the real enemy here, which is high gas fees. All right. And so I sacrificed for Pulse Chain last year. And about a week ago, I received my distribution. And I didn't receive any PLS, the native token of the Pulse Chain blockchain. That was one particular sacrifice. And I'm assuming that based on when you went to sacrifice or how you opted into it, there were multiple ways to kind of do it. But I sacrificed for PulseX. All right. And so I got all my PulseX. I sacrificed about 2 Ethereum, and which at the time was worth about $7,300 last year. And now this year, I received my distribution of PulseX, and within a couple days, it was worth about $11,000. So today, I noticed that the ratio on PulseX to Pulse was about 4-to-1 at launch. It's now dropped down to a little bit below 2-to-1. So that's a little bit more favorable for me. So I converted about 20% of my PulseX into PLS. Now, for the people out there who might be struggling with this and are doing it the same way I did, I sacrificed Ethereum off of an account that is managed by my Ledger device. All right. It's actually this bad boy right here. Ledger Nano X. I've been using it for years. Highly recommend it. Link in the description. Now, when we had the kind of 2019, 2020, 2021 DeFi explosion, I was mostly using, I had never, well, not never, but I had not done a lot of MetaMask outside of having a ledger. And at the time, back in 2020, 2019, 2021, there was still a lot of issues. And I noticed those same issues now with Pulse Chain. By that, I mean, I would be trying to use Uniswap, or I would try to be interacting with contracts or protocols using my Ethereum account managed by my Ledger device, which means for every transaction, I've got to plug my Ledger in and open up the Ethereum application and click confirm and all of the things. And often the transactions wouldn't go through, or I would have trouble and things just wouldn't work right. And it was a big pain in the ass. So what I ended up doing is I simply just created a secondary MetaMask account that wasn't connected to my Ledger. And then for any transactions, I would just transfer from my Ledger device. I would transfer funds into my MetaMask, complete the transaction, let's say swap for a token, and then transfer it back to my Ledger where I knew it was safe. And that was the kind of the formula and the strategy that I've been using all this time. Then over the course of 2021, 2022, I got a little bit more cavalier with my hot wallet usage. And I just started predominantly using the MetaMask hot wallet. And of course, all the proper OPSEC, keeping my seed phrase offline, generating my seed phrase offline, all of those things. However, and everything was fine. I noticed no issues. Ledger had some significant updates after that. And honestly, throughout 2021, I didn't even need to use that pass-through account. I could just directly use my Ledger device. So with Pulse Chain, since it's a new Ethereum fork, I'm noticing that Ledger is having some issues. So I asked in the Discord, I asked in the Telegram, I asked on Reddit, and I don't like Reddit. I asked all over the place to try to get some assistance with the issue. Nobody had the answer. So what I ended up doing, because I could not get my PulseX approved for swapping, I had a friend, shout out to Bflow, who was able to supply me with some PLS. So I had gas fee. So I had gas to pay for transactions. But I was still just having all of these issues, right? I wasn't able to, I would approve the PLSX for spending, but then it wouldn't go through. And then and then this morning I had a bunch of nightmares like pending transactions. So I had to reset my MetaMask account multiple times, restart my computer, do a custom nonce transaction wipe. which so again, anybody needs help with these kind of things, hop in the Discord. I'm more than happy to help out. These can be tricky things when you're learning to navigate the cryptocurrency world and learning how to use MetaMask, appropriately, and how to deal with issues. Everything's fine when everything's working good, but then when you get transactions that are pending, maybe they're not even on the block explorer, but MetaMask is clogged up, people kind of freak out and panic. And what will happen is that you will then go to maybe Twitter or Reddit or Telegram or Discord to ask for help. And as soon as you start asking for help, you're going to be targeted by scammers. And this is one of the number one ways people lose their crypto assets through fraud is people impersonate support, and they get you to either give you their seed phrase or give you access to their computer. Many ways that people will try to take your money. So typically, nobody's really going to help you out. You know what I mean? Or, it's hard to find good help out there. So anyways, just be aware of all that. Never give anybody your seed phrase, never give anybody access to your wallet, never give anybody your password, all of these things, or you will have your cryptocurrency taken from you. Anyways, positive conclusion, because I, again, as I said, swapped about 20% of my PulseX into Pulse, and I now am considering maybe participating in some farming or some liquidity provisioning. I'm not 100% sure. So if you guys have any ideas, comments, strategies for what you're doing with your PLS or your PLSX, let me know in the comments down below, or let me know in the live chat if you're watching actively. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Obviously, INC, which is the incentive token that is being paid out in rewards, just had a big moon, just went up like 1,000% or something like that. And, PLSX and PLS are doing quite good. And I expect very good things from them moving forward. So, all right, that's enough pumping my bags. Let's get into the market. So this is initiator testing. This is not the dashboard we want. We want to take a top-down look at Bitcoin, and we can honestly start with just crypto bubbles and see how things are progressing on the week. On the week, again, we've got kind of a mixed bag. Things are retreating or staying kind of flat. And those things which have pumped are kind of giving back their gains moderately and just kind of consolidating. RNDR, which was up quite significantly as far as top 100 coins, has kind of hovered between the 35 to 45% gains on the weekly. So again, nice advance, and now just kind of consolidating and wondering where it's going. Kava Chain's up a little bit on the daily. Injective and Synthetics and Neo all had nice advances and are kind of have given quite a bit of that back now so far. Delving down into the top 200, again, everything kind of looks the same. Tau and Blur have been doing okay. Ordinals is down about 40% on the weekly, so big explosion in Ordinals. Nice pumps on the top 300, ARPA Chain, Kuji, Tomo, Vega, Wild. And then going down to the top 400, we've obviously got nothing here that really sticks out to me. Let's see here. SNEC up 192%. So meme coin or something there. Going with snakes instead of dogs. Interesting. BMX and Imni still okay. Yeah, Squid Grow, DBC. Okay, yeah, so not any big significant changes. Yeah, top 100 kind of remains the same with RNDR and Kava. So nothing too crazy or dramatic. Now, turning our attention to BTC. Obviously, on the weekly, we talked about this before. I don't have the RSI set up right here. I actually think it's over here. Yes, I do. We have talked about many reasons, on-chain, technical, fundamental, for why price kind of hit a hiccup and retraced here. We hit the 30K psychological level. RSI almost briefly touched its head into overbought territory. So again, just simply going from oversold, regular bullish divergence, and now we've had a run up, and the first time we even get close to overbought, price retreats. Okay, makes a lot of sense. This also happened in Confluence with the fact that we had 90 to 95% of short-term holders. Those are those who have held Bitcoin in their wallets for less than 6 months in profit. And when that occurs, we often get profit taking, because when everybody's in profit, people want to start taking profit. So all of those things have occurred now. The things that are giving me a bearish bias, we've talked about quite a bit. Oh, did I get logged out of Glassnode? I do believe I did. Pause for just a second. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to click that button, but I just need to click this button. All right, here we go. not reserve risk, exchange volume momentum, of course, and new address momentum. So this is, here we go. Yeah, so this is the most concerning thing, and this is why I do have a bit of a bearish bias at the moment. The reason, it's all on chain. All right. So this is new addresses momentum. New addresses momentum tracks the rate of growth of new addresses on the Bitcoin blockchain. We can directly correlate an increase in new addresses with a typical increase in price, because new addresses, an increase in new addresses means that there are newer and more market participants engaging with Bitcoin, which means fresh infusions of capital, which is the fuel for bull runs, for positive price movements. Now, this is a bit of a leading indicator. All right, as we see, the market is still moving down here prior to the collapse of FTX, and we see new addresses momentum begin ticking up. Now, we see something very similar. Here, the market is at its peak at 30K, and we start to see new address momentum absolutely nosedive, and we haven't actually seen a concurrent breakdown in price. So as I said, this is a bit of a leading indicator, and it is unlikely that we are going to see a continued uptick in price without new address momentum on our side. In addition to that, we, of course, looked at exchange volume momentum. This is a very interesting one. This is obvious, this as well as a correlation between what exchange volume momentum is calculating is total exchange inflows and outflows, and then we're comparing the 30-day moving average of that with the 365-day moving average. Again, there's a clear correlation with uptrends in both. We obviously can determine from the 30-day moving average higher highs and higher lows are positive, meaning that there is more exchange activity in general, which is associated with increases in price, or again, just overall bullishness, and decreases in this, lower lows and lower highs in the 30-day, and a downwards trajectory for the yearly moving average is negative. And while it did seem like we had peeked our heads out of the woods there with the 30-day tracking above the yearly here briefly towards in April, we have now gone back down below the yearly moving average, and we do see exchange activity begin to slow down as soon as we hit that 30K resistance. So all of these things are quite bearish on chain, as well as the overbought. Now, we could just come down here, consolidated 26K, reset, and then continue to move. But I want to see those on-chain metrics begin to tick back up before I significantly start changing my perspective. All right, so getting down into where we're at. So again, Bitcoin hasn't really done much for the last week and a half now, still consolidating in the $27,000 area. We had a nice sweep of liquidity with a hammer candle here, but we haven't really seen any further movements from that. And as I laid out, the current trading plan right now is long from this area. I am expecting a short squeeze to try to get shorts out, but prior to a more significant move down. This would fulfill the, oh no. It feels as if I've lost my drawings. Well, that's a shame. I must have pressed the wrong button somewhere. Darn, that is a shame. All right, that's okay. We can just redraw them. Okay, so, and this way you guys can kind of see my the way I'm thinking about this. So the first thing that we have going on is, of course, the head and shoulders pattern. Let's see if I can draw this accurately. So we do have the left shoulder. We have the head. No. This isn't right. Yeah, sorry. There we go. Oh, come on, guys. The head, the right shoulder. There we go. And then if we take a measured move from the neckline to the top of the head, and we take that and we project downwards, we can get an estimated price target. Let's do a ray actually instead. There we go. Oh, whoops. That's not what I want. I want a horizontal ray. There we go. And Yeah, 23.4. Okay, perfect. Head and Shoulders price target at 23.4. And the way I had, I think it's because of this, perhaps. Yeah, interesting perspective. Because the way we had this drawn previously, it did look like we had already broken the neckline, back tested it as resistance, and then rejected from it. And here we're seeing something a little bit different, where we're actually consolidating and perhaps even collecting steam for a move to the upside. But anyways, I would like to see a sweep of liquidity here. All right, I'd like to see a sweep of liquidity here. 28,616. Take out late shorts, and then the movement down. So we'll see. We'll see. And the reasons for this, I laid this out yesterday, right? The reasons I laid this out quickly, or excuse me, I laid this out over the last several days. Because B-flow. Because we need to be prepared for whichever way the market moves. All right. So we typically do not want to short support. That's not a good idea. We typically want a long support, especially when we have a range and Bitcoin is consolidating and trading in a range. So the way to play this is long from support, expecting the short squeeze. And the nice thing about that too is that if we're wrong, right? Because this is something interesting that our senior analyst Alex brought up yesterday in his market update, which is the fact that, typically we want to be contrarian, right? Contrarian investing is good. You want to know when to go with the flow and when not to go with the flow. And when we normally see a market top, we normally see people very bullish and enthusiastic. And Alex had made the point that he didn't experience that in the current market, that what he was experiencing was a lot of bearishness. And typically, if everybody thinks that the market is going to go down, then the market is not going to go down and the market's going to continue to go up. So we want to take that into account. So we want to be prepared for if price continues with the dominant trend, which so far this year has been to the upside. So establishing a long position at support allows us to do that. So we establish the long position, price goes up. If we short sweep, or if we sweep liquidity here and then we see a sign of rejection, we simply close the long position, we enter the short, and we're prepared. And if we push and then we continue to push, then we simply take our 50% profit here and then continue to let the trade ride and probably re-add on a breakout of 30K. And if we just simply break down from here, then we just simply momentum short below this level. Okay, obviously there are lots of things that can go wrong all the way throughout this, but that is the game plan. That is the way to play this, in my opinion, on the daily time frame, looking for the positional trades right here. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Bitcoin moving sideways, so alts are still going to have potential right here. Keep in mind that you want to be prepared for if Bitcoin does break support and makes its trajectory down here to 23.4. That is going to be a decline in price of approximately 14%, and altcoins are going to get hit hard with double-digit losses. If Bitcoin loses 13%, most altcoins are going to lose probably 20 to 40%, depending on, and the lower cap coins, more than 50% most likely. This is how volatile and how sensitive these things are to Bitcoin's inherent price movement. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame on BTC, do we see a trade setup? We do have a 4-hour range. So there definitely was a trade today to short the resistance level that we had previously been tapping on. And that would be the current trade I would be watching for. I would be holding this short on the meso time frames, and then you want to be longing this breakout. All right. You want to be watching for this breakout, long this breakout from 25 to 28. And then reevaluate. And that'll position you, again, very similarly the same way that we are with the long at support and being prepared for this liquidity grab right here. So yeah, definitely watching for breakouts of 28. In fact, we're going to go ahead and set an alert for that occurrence. All right, that's what we want to be watching for. Yeah. Minx on the hourly has been crushing this very nicely. Again, nice touch at oversold and a nice bullish crossover. Nice run up to the overbought area and rejection. I mean, Minx has been really crushing this thing on calling these pivots on the LTFs. Yeah, so kind of same thing. Not really seeing the buying opportunity now. I mean, the only thing we might have here. Yeah, not even that, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, not even that. Not even that. So yeah, the only setup I really see on the meso timeframes here is the break of the horizontal ray, the break of current resistance, and then longing that breakout. Whether we get a BPS, break, pullback, retest, or BPR, excuse me. And then coming down to the 30-minute time frame. Again, nothing really constructive here. Yeah, nothing really on the mesos. I think those are the two big trades. The two big trades are obviously the daily, looking for this positional swing right here, and then on the I would probably be watching this on the hourly, watching for the break of resistance at 27.5 to take that to 28.6. That would be the swing there. About a 4% price movement in BTC today. All right. Hey Alex, good to see you in the chat, man. Share some of those juicy altcoin charts with us, man. I have to pull open Discord simultaneously. Okay. While we wait for that, let's quickly check in on the ETH Bitcoin chart. The ETH Bitcoin chart tells us whether we should be holding Bitcoin or Ethereum. And it's just as simple as the daily baseline. All right. If Ethereum BTC is above the baseline, there is opportunity to hold Ethereum as opposed to BTC. Ethereum is going to be appreciating faster than BTC when price is above the baseline. So things are not there. We do see that Ethereum has been underperforming BTC since January of 2023. So basically this entire year, Ethereum has been underperforming Bitcoin. And we don't really see any change in that. We do appear to be, again, heading for an upwards trajectory here for the daily baseline. We might be crossing it, but I don't see such a thing happening yet. So no real reason to do that. And then as FBTC moves up, you can consider rotating into altcoins relative to their coin. And again, that's just as simple as let's say you want to buy Matic, so you would pull up the Matic Ethereum chart. All right. And this just simply answers, should I be holding Matic or should I be holding Ethereum? All right. Well, you should be holding Ethereum because Matic is currently underperforming Ethereum, and we follow momentum, right? As you can see, when Matic outperforms Ethereum, it generally continues to outperform Ethereum. All right. And then you'll have to develop some system, some strategy, some routine to take profits and rotate back into stable coins or Bitcoin. But this is the simple methodology for determining whether something is more attractive to hold than the two base currencies. All right. So I've got some recommendations to chart from Alex. So first we're going to be looking at ILV. And the first thing we're going to just do is basically look at the naked chart. All right, so ILV, let's see here, had a nice rally in the beginning of 2023 from January to February, basically the month of January. had a nice 172% gain. We've now dropped back down about 60%. And again, if we're considering this being the market bottom, this is a nice opportunity. All right, this is a nice opportunity for potentially a coin that's bottomed out. What is the kind of drawdown risk moving down here? About 20%, about 20% to the bottom. And we could just simply use a trend-based fib extension to see how price might rally. If we just look for the 1.618, then potential price appreciation, another 226% is possible for ILV if we're able to capture the steam. I don't have my, well, let's see if I do actually. Yep, okay, I am logged in. Let's see. Oh, charts, or is it? No. Bear with me here, guys. I'm getting it. Working on it, guys. It's my screener. Oh, this is... I had a... I had a dashboard. We want here we go. Network activity. We want to look at daily active addresses. We want to look at, obviously, price. We want to look at transaction count. And we want to look at transaction volume in USD. That's what we want to look at. And map view, we can get rid of this one. Here we go. Okay. All right, so let's just look at these one at a time. We obviously have the price of Illuvium. And if we zoom this out, let's try and zoom this out. Because I want to see if we can get the rally in there. All right. Yeah, so this is actually pretty interesting here. So what we'll typically see is we will see an increase in on-chain evidence when a coin is being accumulated. We will see an increase in transaction volume in USD. We will see an increase in transaction count, and we will see an increase in daily active addresses. And these metrics will also tend to elevate and remain high during a bullish run. All right, here in ILV, we can actually see a pretty dramatic increase in all of these metrics really at the beginning of the run in 2021. And we actually can see a pretty substantial increase in all of these throughout all of 2022, which honestly was not fantastic for Illuvium's price. But yeah, so here you can see this change in accumulation pattern. Notice the big spike in daily active addresses as price was bottoming out here from October to December of 2022. And notice how we've got big spikes in transaction count. And we also have some noticeable upticks in transaction volume USD as well. Now, of course, following here's the rally that we just experienced in 2023. And you notice that all those metrics kind of hit their highest levels, right? And the actual top of the market, we have the most amount of transaction spikes. So that is very helpful to note. You can use this on-chain evidence to determine where something's at in its cycle. So when you see big spikes like that, and you can combine that with your technical analysis to see something is perhaps overbought, and you're also seeing a lot of increased on-chain activity, generally a good time to take some profits. Now, I don't necessarily see. I see a decline following that peak. All right. So we've kind of seen these metrics continue to tamp down. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Whoa, easy there. Come on, killer. There we go. Yeah, so I don't notice. I don't notice that that uptick, but perhaps, yeah, maybe we do, because here we're starting to maybe potentially bottom out a little bit, and we are seeing a little bit of increase in daily active addresses and transaction count here. So decent. And then just returning to technical analysis, we can just watch for this breakout. Okay, we've got this nice descending channel, which is very common in cryptocurrencies. And we just simply watch to see the break of that channel. Regardless, ILV certainly not a bad price for this asset, especially if we're thinking that the lows that we put in November, December are potentially significant lows. I feel very strong about that with Bitcoin. I don't have that same conviction for altcoins, but definitely a chart to watch. All right, what else do we got here, man? All right, we've got MC. All right. Let's see here. MC, does this thing only know how to go down? Don't worry, I've seen much worse. Let's see here. Let's throw our bottom feeder on here. Yeah, bottom feeder is actually going crazy right here, which is funny. So bottom feeder is our automated strategy. It is designed to catch bottoms and dips in the market, but not just in some kind of like vague way, like more in a specific like yes, trade this. So let's do the same thing. Merit Circle. Okay. Let's go Merit Circle and we'll do price on a new chart. We will do we'll also look at exchange inflow and daily active addresses, transaction volume, and transaction count. All right. So again, here we have the same thing. And we've got our price of Merit Circle right here. And let's just really zoom this pupper out so we can see very, very clearly. Do we notice any distinguishable trends? Do we see any significant spikes in activity? Daily active addresses. Let's zoom. I want to get all of 2023. Excuse me. Yeah, now we've got a little bit more than that. Let's zoom this baby in. Okay, so we saw a big spike in transaction count right here at the end of March 2023. Which, funny enough, occurred again right before a little bit of a pump in price appreciation in MC as well. No big increase in exchange inflows, which is good. Transaction volume seems relatively flat. And again, transaction count spiked very significantly there as well as daily active addresses. Daily active addresses spiked very noticeably here recently as well. Yeah, right. So right before that movement to the upside, we had a big spike in transaction count and transaction volume, or excuse me, daily active addresses and transaction count. Transaction volume as well, but not super significantly on the transaction volume. Definitely a big uptick in transaction count and daily active addresses. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves is, was all of that to just play that one move on MC, which was this move right here, which was only a 40% move? Or is this kind of pre-accumulation? So Alex is considering this a bit of a Wyckoff spring, where essentially we've got kind of our established lows, and then we push down below that significantly. And this is where all potential sellers will have sold. And once all people who want to sell have sold, price can only go one way. So the argument here is that not only did we see a bout of accumulation here prior to a little bit of a run up, maybe a little tease, maybe a little test for what's to come, but we also saw, as I said, an uptick here in daily active addresses and transaction count. So lots of on-chain activity that occurred here. Okay, and then we had a 40% move into the upside. And now here we are below those prices. So interesting. Is market cap, or is Merit Circle bottomed out? Or is this thing just headed to zero? I really like Alex's idea here. Yeah. So Alex is saying that Merit Circle is a spring. Their tokenomics changed last week, and now they are mispriced. They are making a layer 2 where MC is the gas token, but news hasn't percolated to the market yet. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Make the prices go up. Yeah, we could just do what? Just there we go. On that chart, does this look better now? Oh man, we should like buy this. This thing's never gonna stop. All right? Perspective. Okay. Yeah, I like Alex's strategy here. So setting an alert on this horizontal line for when Merit Circle reclaims not 0.25. Okay, about 25 cents. So this would be our trigger to enter. And then I think if that occurs, well, we just simply set a stop loss below these lows. That's only a 13% stop loss. And I mean, if we're considering them undervalued, then I mean, at the very minimum, we're going to go for a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But again, maybe that's thinking way too small. We're looking for about a 38% trade, which I think is reasonable. 38%. Take some profit off the table, and then you can leave it as a moon bag if we really think that Merit Circle is significantly undervalued by the market. Okay. All right. I've got time to do one more. And then if you guys have any questions, make sure to get them in now. All right. The last chart that Alex has suggested for me is Zen. You know, okay, so Zen on Gate.io again, initial launch, dump, pump, and then like long distribution. And then we had this again, nice pump right around the same time, around March. About a 1,000% movement from Zen. We've now retraced about 80% of that movement so far. Now, so that is Magna mode. I mean, we are significantly below. I want the 886. There we go. Yeah, so we are at the 886. Now, I've talked about the 886 before. You know, Fibonacci's are kind of weird, in my opinion. I'm not a big Fibonacci guy. You know, they can be helpful for determining levels, especially when you don't have anything to target. But in the past, especially when we were in a similar state of the market back in 2018, 2019, we noticed a lot of these altcoins retracing to the 886. And Alex is requesting that I go linear. All right, so we've got linear. And yeah, so essentially what we've had is we've had kind of the undervaluedness of price. Price rallied, and now price has basically returned to the previous, I would say, resistance level, because we kind of ramped up here and consolidated for a little bit. But you could also consider like we're almost at the support level too right here, right? So we often see this with cryptocurrencies where we will kind of form a bottom, and this is not necessarily an Adam and Eve, but yeah, nice. I mean, nice movement from Zen, pullback. Let's do the exact same thing with Zen on Santiment and see if we see any on-chain data. Okay, so we don't, so Santiment does not support Zen. So we're struck, Chuck. And we'll just for fun do a little trend-based fib extension here. And yeah, I mean, that's like if we just do if we do one from here to here is 460%. From here to here is about 730%. So crazy return if we can get that push off. How would I trade this? I personally, I don't want to take any action on Zen right now. I do like this level. This makes a lot of sense. I think if we, the thing is, right? Long period of consolidation, plenty of time to accumulate, and that was the fuel for the run. Generally, I would think that we would see more consolidation, but we'll see. I think what happens in the broader crypto market will be kind of indicative of what happens with most of these assets that we're looking at here. Obviously, if we break down below support, I'm not really interested in looking at it. If we bottom here and then break resistance at 0.50310, then we could potentially look at that. That would not be a bad way to do it. You know, again, just trading with the momentum in our favor. Yeah, definitely want to watch. Zen is interesting here. I'll get out of bed for 400%. Yeah, I would get out of bed for 400% too. Okay. All right, that's about, whoa. Come on, guys. It's like you're not even trying. That's about it for today, guys. Just checking back in with Bitcoin here real quick. Yeah, so just as we said, what were the plays here? Obviously, the 4 hour and the hourly, the meso time frames are indicating that we have a range. We've got pretty clearly defined resistance here at about 27.5. So looking for that short at 27.5 makes a whole lot of sense, and just continuing to play the range is fine. Overall, in the long run, I think that we are going to experience that move down to 23.4, 23.2, which is totally fine. And we'll either look to scoop prices up at that point in time, or depending on what the on-chain data looks like, kind of preparing ourselves for that continued cold snap that we talked about at the beginning of the show. In the short term, holding that short position is totally fine. I would look to take profits and reevaluate down here at 26. But any breakouts at 27.5 over the next couple of days or today, I would long to 28.6. All right. And then here I would take 50% of profit off the table. If you long the breakout, take 50% of profit off at 28.6. That's what I would do. And that's what I'm going to do. And that way you can hold the other 50% if price continues to push, re-add on a break of 30K because we're likely going to 35, 37. But if we reject from here, then close your long and we can get short. And then we've got a much better entry for the movement down to 23.4. All right, cool. That's about all we got today. All right. Yeah, I looked at well here. I will look at Litecoin real quick. I actually just added Litecoin to my Litecoin was my Money Monday purchase, so I just bought about $1,000 worth of Litecoin. And I laid out my reasons in great detail yesterday. We're just going to look at Litecoin, and actually we want LTC USD. We'll look at the Coinbase chart. Litecoin had a halving in 2017 or 2016 and 2020. And we can see that after each halving, I mean, we had a massive run, right? And here's the thing. Immediately, Litecoin's halving did not have an immediate effect on price. It basically didn't care. But following the halving, Litecoin always runs up. So what we've seen here is something very positive. Litecoin always runs up and about to the same area for the last two major cycles. And so I think that Litecoin is just a little bit more heavily influenced by Bitcoin. I think a lot of investors just have exposure to Litecoin as well as Bitcoin. And so I view Litecoin as a little bit of beta or maybe even alpha to Bitcoin, because you're going to get that. You're going to get that difference. So I added Litecoin to my portfolio for the simple reason that it always moves up. And this is in stark contrast to many cryptocurrencies that we've seen over the years that have broken their way into the top 10, top 100, and then just fell off in the next cycle. There are so many coins that pumped in 2017 that didn't pump in 2021, but Litecoin pumped in both, right? And again, it went up to about the same level. It came back down to about the same level. We came back down to that same level, and now we're moving up off that level. So I think Litecoin is a no-brainer here. I'm expecting about a 300% out of Litecoin, maybe even more if this cycle is stronger than previous cycles. Yeah, so that's basically it. I think Litecoin's a good buy here. Oh, shoot. You know what? I just realized you guys couldn't see any of that. I just realized that you guys couldn't see any of that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so yeah, here's the chart. Litecoin had halving in 2016 and had halving in 2020. It did no immediate reaction from price. But Litecoin's pumped every single cycle. So pretty simple. All right, guys, that's about it for today. Thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate that. We've laughed, we've cried, we've hopefully made some money. We will be back tomorrow, same crypto time, same crypto network. Well, maybe not the time. I know the time is variable until I get the new recording studio done, and I'm about 2 weeks out from that. That's about it. So thank you guys. If you want to support everything that we do here, make sure to join the community, hopping in our free Discord down in the description. We share a lot of free alpha there. Obviously, subscribing to the channel and giving us a thumbs up, highly appreciated. Really does help us get the word out there, guys. If you're following on Twitch or DLive, you guys can support us on those platforms as well. If you find value in all the analysis, in our thought process, in our thinking, make sure to take advantage of all the resources we have for new traders or experienced traders alike down in the description below. Highly recommend our free guide, The 5 Mistakes Holding You Back from Profitable Trading. It's absolutely free. Goes over actionable information on how to turn the most common trading mistakes around. If you find value in that, our guide, our intro to guide on how to create your own technical strategy is only $7. And if you find value in all of those things, you guys can consider joining the group where we share all of our alpha and portfolio updates. Other than that, guys, I've been Justin Wise. This is the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update, and we'll see you tomorrow. Trade safely.